Well, hello, my friends. Now, once again, being I'm kind of limited in what I could do in my shop, I'm out here powering up a few different sets for the mere enjoyment of it. And I thought I would bring this set to the forefront. Uh, and this obviously is an AK, and the Atwater Kents have a kind of a love-hate relationship amongst collectors. I myself I thoroughly enjoy the AK metal box sets. Um, I wish to touch on briefly kind of an overview of the metal box sets, then go once again more specifically into this set here. And this is a Atwater Kent Model 37. Now, the metal box sets themselves as a whole, they are notorious for being difficult to restore, and it's certainly well warranted. AK, as most of us know, used a lot of tar in their power packs. Primarily, it was done for ease of installation. AK can merely drop the components in a can, fill it with tar, and one didn't have to worry about making brackets and screws and hardware to secure everything, and it was very time consuming and very costly. By using tar in the power packs, one's able to just merely drop the components in, fill it with tar, and of course, when it hardens, it holds all the components in place. Quick, easy, and certainly it was an inexpensive way of doing it. But fast forward to today, it's very problematic. Now, that's what I want to touch on, come forward with this AK Model 37 one sees here. The 37 is unique in the sense that it was AK's first self contained AC set. Now, notice I didn't say first AC set. Their Model 36 was their first AC set, but the 36 had a separate power supply pack with an umbilical going to the set. The 37, as you see here, is unique in the sense that the power supply, and we'll touch on that in just a moment, is actually uh, two components within, and it makes for a much easier restoration. But I wish to touch on first cosmetically on the 37. One of the first things you're going to notice on the AK-37 sets are these gold medallions. There's one in each corner. Now, I have to confess, they weren't the only model to utilize these gold corners. The AK-35, 37, such as we got here, and a 38 all had gold medallions in the corner. Um, so but it's certainly an identifiable mark for a 37 for all intents and purposes. Now, what I'd like to do is actually remove the cover here and touch on. Whoopsie. I do have it powered up and I just jarred the set. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and turn it off. Um, the 30, this particular power pack for the, of course, 37, like I've touched on about 9 times already, and notice it differs considerably from the later 8K packs. The later packs is that brown can that a lot of us are familiar with. This model 37, notice, has got a green cover, and the power supply is a separate component to the left, and there's another pack to the right, which has your chokes and your caps within. Makes it much easier to restore. One can remove this pack, the cap pack here, freeze it, restuff it, and remount. Makes for a much easier restore than the later AKs like the 40. The 40, I think, is the worst AC set to try to restore. The For those unfamiliar, let's touch real quick on what's inside the cabinet here. Of course, here's your rectifier tube. Here's 1, 2, and 3 RF tubes and their coil and respective tuning cap as well. Here is your detector, in this case a 27, 2 audio tubes, and 2 audio transformers. Pretty standard configuration. A very neat, orderly design. I have to give AK some kudos for that. Well, allow me to slide this cover back on. There we go. Put the speaker back on top. And I guess one other thing I'd like to touch on, I guess you can almost call it cosmetically, is of course it's pretty simple to operate. Here's your tuning knob. Here's your volume knob. Your on-off switch. This is a knob that sometimes confuses people for its purpose. This actually is a fine-tuning knob. There should be a rubber grommet on the back side of this knob, and when one pushes the knob against the tuning wheel, notice one can tune it in very, very fine increments. Neat, very simple, but very functional, very practical design. It works very, very well. And let's go and see if we can pick anything up, shall we?
A radio program on the internet, YouTube, Facebook. Also,
and it has, they have very good tonal quality.
The problem with Manchin is that he's never going to go anywhere else besides where he is.
I'm sorry, we're listening to talk radio at the moment.
Republican voters would never vote for him because he has a moderate record and because they don't trust him. Democrats are never going to advance him.
Well, we could scan across the dial here, and you could see that there's a plethora of stations all the way across the dial. We're actually, it's later in the evening, so the reception is quite well. But anyway, there you have it, an AK Model 37. I hope it answered some of your questions and added some clarity to a couple things. And should you have any questions, of course, as always, feel free to ask. And I would be amiss if I didn't say, until next time.